good morning, or afternoon, or whatever time I'm coming at you today. So, this is a new channel that I've decided to make. I love football. I speak about football with my friends all the time. It's something that I've got a lot of passion for in my day-to-day life, and it's something that I've wanted to speak about for a while. So today, as my first video, I thought that I'd go through something that I religiously go through every single morning that I wake up. I go through the BBC Sport gossip column, so why not go through there, give my opinions on some of the stories that appear on there. So right from the very top, there's a story from the Daily Mail that reads, Liverpool have inquired about Ismaila Sarr and have discussed his situation with Watford, who want £36 million for the 22-year-old Senegal forward. For me personally, I'm a Liverpool fan. I have some vivid memories of Sarr from last year, considering Watford were the first team who beat us. I'm not too upset about it. I didn't expect us to go invincible anyway, so last season was brilliant. I think he's a good player, he could be a good signing. He's still he's like a diamond in the rough. Very much, he's not the final piece yet. I think under a manager like Klopp, it could happen, but it's something that, it's a big risk, especially for 36 million in this climate as well. Sarr has also been identified by Manchester United as an alternative option if their move for Borussia Dortmund and England winger Jadon Sancho fails. That's been the story of this transfer window, hasn't it? Jadon Sancho to Manchester United. It's something that could happen. It's something that it's been speculated for a long time. It's going to be a bit of a kick in the face to Manchester City, considering that's where he originally came from. Let's be honest, in the last decade they've not really been that much of a threat to anyone in the Premier League, let alone Manchester City, who've gone on to do so many things. But United are starting to get there again. They've signed Bruno Fernandes, Paul Pogba's starting to look more like himself. It could be something very, very exciting, especially if Jadon Sancho gets there. From ESPN, Manchester United are considering moves for Inter Milan's Croatia winger Ivan Perisic, Bayern Munich's France winger Kingsley Coman, and 30-year-old Brazil winger Douglas Costa from Juventus. To be fair, out of everyone in their team, out of every position that Manchester United have on their field, I'd say their attack is relatively strong. You've got Martial, who he's been quite consistent for United over the years, apart from the Jose period where he was playing him on the wing. Now that he's been played up top with under Solskjaer, he's coming into his own a lot. Marcus Rashford's been a bit on and off, but his injuries have been a bit setting him back in his progress quite a lot, and Mason Greenwood recently has looked fantastic. So Ivan Perisic, he was in the World Cup final 2018. And he's been so good for Bayern Munich on loan this season. I know he's from Inter Milan. He's looking brilliant. Kingsley Coman played very well in the final of the Champions League this year. That could be an option for them to move forward with, but he's going to cost quite a lot from Bayern Munich, I would think. And then Douglas Costa, 30 years old, from Juventus. By what Solskjaer's trying to do, he's looking like he's building a very young team. Bringing in someone who's 30 years old, who's probably going to cost quite a lot of money, it doesn't really make much sense to fit with his philosophy, but I guess we'll see. It could happen. Next story from The Sun. I don't even want to read this. But Manchester United are also targeting Germany midfielder Sami Khedira, 33, when his contract expires at Juventus. Again, another thing that I don't really think this makes much sense, but it kind of does as well. I mean, Nemanja Matic has lost his legs, and I'm not saying Sami Khedira hasn't, because he definitely has as well, but you can't do much worse than Nemanja Matic. So I think bringing in someone who's got a lot of experience at the top of his game with Sami Khedira, as much as he's not been playing anywhere near as much as he has done in his career with Juventus this season, but it could be something that could help shore up the midfield in the short term, whilst Solskjaer looks for that next big player. From Star, a deal has been agreed for 28-year-old Rennes and Senegal goalkeeper Edouard Mendy to join Chelsea, says his agent. This could be something just that he's stirring up, but this has been a story that's been in the news for a while now. I mean, Chelsea are going to buy anyone to get rid of Kepa, really, aren't they? That's just been a massive flop of a deal. I mean, 72 million for a goalkeeper that had one of the worst save percentages last season is just abysmal. But Mendy, 28 years old, still, I wouldn't say he's in his prime because he played for Rennes, but for all we know, he could be a very, very good player for Chelsea. Next one from The Express. Chelsea are set to bid for West Ham's England midfielder Declan Rice as the final act of their summer spending. With Chelsea, I mean, There have been some good signings, there have been some very bad ones in the past, but this season they have not taken any prisoners. They've spent so much money. I mean, 72 million or 71 million, I think, on Kai Havertz. Brilliant signing. So Declan Rice being brought in again. I think he's not necessarily as proven as what people think he is. Just because he's English, his price has gone up so much. Like if he was an Argentinian player playing for West Ham, he'd go for like 20 million, if that. But they're talking of prices like 60 million, which he's just not worth, in my opinion. Next article from The Star. A Manchester United bid for Porto's 27-year-old Brazilian defender Alex Telles is imminent, according to his agent. That would be a good signing. I have heard that they were originally going to go for Sergio Reguilon from Real Madrid, the player who had a very good, successful loan spell with Sevilla last season. But it looks like he's moving to Spurs. I think it was mainly because of the buyback clause in his contract, or supposed buyback clause in his contract. Nothing's been proved yet. Alex Telles could be a brilliant signing from Man United. I mean, Luke Shaw was originally supposed to be someone who shored up that position, mind the pun, after Evra left, but it's not come to pass, has it? I think Jose Mourinho really put a dampen on his confidence. Next article from The Telegraph. Brentford have rejected a bid of around £10 million from Arsenal for 25-year-old Spanish goalkeeper David Raya. This is because Emiliano Martinez has now gone to Aston Villa in a deal for about £20 million. That's definitely going to take Pepe Reina out of the starting 11. Yeah, I can see David Raya just being a backup keeper if he does move to Arsenal. Next article from the Mail. Southampton has told Tottenham that striker Danny Ings is not for sale at any price. No surprise, Danny Ings was one of the best players last season, and he was very, very close to winning PFA Player of the Year. In my opinion, he should have been up there because, I mean, the amount of points he won for that Southampton team by himself, he carried them on his back. Hasenhüttl did very, very well, especially to come back from that 9-0 defeat against Leicester. But yeah, I can't see Ings leaving. His heart is set on Southampton. Leicester City are closing in on the loan signing of 23-year-old Turkey striker Cengiz Ünder from Roma, while Burnley's England defender James Tarkowski is still a target for Fox's manager Brendan Rodgers. Okay, so the first part of that article is from Sky Sports, talking about Cengiz Ünder from Roma going to Leicester City. He could be a good signing. I mean, he was like the young player that everyone was looking at a couple years ago, and he's kind of gone under the radar since then. He could be a good signing, only on loan, but it's probably going to have an option to buy with the way that Roma tend to do their deals. The second part of that article about James Tarkowski to Leicester City for Brendan Rodgers. This is probably an idea of replacing Johnny Evans with Leicester City. I know a lot of people really, really do like him as a defender, but he's getting up there in age, and I definitely think he needs competition in that position. I mean, Wes Morgan is like his closest competition on the bench. Soyuncu with Johnny Evans, it's a strong partnership, but James Tarkowski to come in would definitely properly replace Harry Maguire after he left for Manchester United. But I think Burnley are holding out for around 60 million for James Tarkowski, which again is way too expensive for him. I mean, he can't even get into the England squad. The next story from Sky Sports again. West Ham have changed their structure of their latest bid for Tarkowski, but the offer has still been declined by Burnley. I mean, West Ham are trying everything not to be thrown under the mud here, aren't they? Grady Diangana, the West Ham youngster, his sale to West Brom, it really did put a fire in the belly of so many West Ham fans. It could be something that they definitely, it's something that's definitely going to bite them. Yeah, I don't have any confidence in West Ham to stay up. If they do bring in James Tarkowski, it could definitely help. But their issues are definitely more than just their defence. Like, their entire team is just not strong enough. Next story, West Ham are trying to sign Aston Villa's 27-year-old Tanzania striker Mbwana Samata before he completes a move to Fenerbahce. He's a good player, he's a good finisher, so West Brom could definitely use someone like him, especially since they're currently relying on Hal Robson, Kanu and Charlie Austin to put balls in the back of the net. Next story from the Standard. English former Liverpool defender and free agent Nathaniel Clyne is training with Crystal Palace and could earn a contract. I believe Nathaniel Clyne began his career with Crystal Palace, so returning there would be a good move for him. It would be decent replacement for Aaron Wan-Bissaka when he moved to Manchester United last season as well. Next article from Goal is Edin Dzeko is set to join Juventus from Roma on a 2-year deal. The 34-year-old Bosnia and Herzegovina striker's move will mean Luis Suarez's hopes of a move from Barcelona to the Serie A champions will likely end. This is a difficult story to hear if you're Luis Suarez when you've just been told that Ronald Koeman wants to cancel your contract and let you leave. But this could open the way for him to move back to Ajax. There's not much gossip around his move. There was big links for him going to Juventus, but if this story is true and Edin Dzeko goes there instead, I think all hopes of Suarez going to Juventus are put in the mud. But yeah, Edin Dzeko would be a good signing. I mean, he's proved for many years he's a fantastic goal scorer. From the start, Arsenal have agreed personal terms with Lyon's 22-year-old French midfielder Houssem Aouar. That would be a fantastic signing from Arsenal. I'm not entirely sure if they've agreed a deal yet. This article doesn't say so, it just says they've agreed personal terms. So it's up to them to agree a transfer deal with Lyon. But yeah, I think Houssem Aouar would be a fantastic signing for Arsenal, so that would be a good one. Tottenham and England midfielder Dele Alli has emerged as a target for Paris Saint-Germain and Inter Milan. This is probably just a story that the newspapers are bringing up because Gareth Bale's move to Spurs is imminent. I mean, it's only a loan deal, but we can imagine that's probably going to turn permanent because Zinedine Zidane has made it pretty obvious he's not a fan of Bale. He doesn't play him at all. But yeah, Dele Alli moving abroad. This could be an interesting one, especially to Paris Saint-Germain or Inter Milan. Both teams could do with some more depth in the midfield, but English players are notorious for not doing so well abroad. So Serbia striker Luka Jovic is keen to leave Real Madrid. No surprise there, he's not got a look in at all. He was definitely a future purchase from Real Madrid because Karim Benzema is still playing fantastic football. Genoa have reached an agreement with Chelsea to sign 28-year-old right-back Davide Zappacosta on loan. I mean, I forgot this guy even existed. I mean, he was signed under Conte 2-3 seasons ago. He scored an absolute screamer in his first season, but he hasn't really featured since. I think he was on loan at Roma last season. I think it was Roma. Yeah, he's a good player. I think he'll do well for Genoa, but he's just not suited to Chelsea. Juventus have confirmed Gonzalo Higuain's departure. The 32-year-old Argentina striker is expected to sign for MLS club Inter Miami. So that's taking 2 Juventus players to David Beckham's new team, Inter Miami. So that's Blaise Matuidi and Gonzalo Higuain. I mean, 2 very, very big signings for David Beckham's side, but Higuain's way past his best. We've all seen it. Even his loan to Chelsea, it went horribly wrong. And that's it for the gossip on BBC Sport. So tune in for whenever I upload another BBC Sport gossip column. I hope you enjoyed my first video on this channel. It's something that I've looked to do for a very, very long time. I'm just trying to divvy up exactly what I wanted to do. I hope you liked my content. I hope you subscribe, like the video, comment, share, everything. All right, see you later. Thank you very much.